And we're good.
Okay. Hey guys. On the Shamrock Shed this morning, I was able to post a motivational quote of the day. And if you didn't see it, the quote I posted was, "You will never always be motivated, so you must learn to be disciplined." And before I posted that, I was really trying to think of what would hit home the most to kick off the 7 days, right? It's a short challenge. It's only 7 days. How can we get people to stick 100% to their plan for 7 days? Also, I am listening right now to Brendan Bouchard's Highly Effective Habits book. I think that's the name of it. I can't remember. But it's High Performing Habits. And it's all about creating your daily disciplines and your daily habits, right? And part of my story is I struggle in the past with depression, and it's hard to have a good day every day, right? And those of you who know this were shocked to first find this out, that I don't have a good morning routine. Like I don't stick to the same thing every day. It doesn't look the same to me, and that's something I've been working on. And so I was thinking about all those things combined, and I kind of came across that quote. And it's like, we have to put those habits in place. We have to put that structure in place. So on the days we don't want to get out of bed, on the days we don't want to go to the gym or don't want to have our shake in the morning, it just becomes habit. We just do it because that's what we do every day, and it becomes easy for us. And so how can we teach our customers and our clients to do the same thing so it becomes easy for them and they don't even have to think about it? It's not a terms of motivation or not motivated. It's just there. That's what they do. And it's something I continue to work on every day. But that's where that kind of quote came from this morning. And Lace, I'm glad that it touched you. And I hope that it helped others too.
Tiff, will you read it one more time?
Yeah. I don't have very good memory, so I actually like to read it and not just memorize it. You will never always be motivated, so you must learn to be disciplined.
Yeah, I don't know if that lands on any of you guys, but it definitely, I read it. I mean, it was first thing today, you guys. And it's like, even as wellness coaches, sticking to our plan and making sure we're on point with our results. And just like Tiff said, but even in, some of the business types of things, it's like, you're not always going to feel like doing what you need to do. Does that make sense? Like sometimes it's not about feeling. You know what? Because like momentum or building your business, it doesn't really have feelings. Momentum will start and stop based on your activities, regardless of how you feel.
And Lace, I've listened to a lot of speakers lately who say, like, put it in your phone. Like, I check my gauges every night. It's a reminder in my phone that goes off, to do the simple things. If you're struggling with that, like, make it stupid simple, so to speak. Schedule it so that you don't forget about it until it becomes habit, until it becomes routine, so that you don't forget and you don't just look over it.
Yeah. And like one of the things that, who works in a nutrition club here? Raise your hand if you work in a nutrition club. Okay. So do you guys, are we there early? Right? Like we're there early. And at Thrive, for literally, you guys, 7.5 years, somebody comes into our nutrition club before we open, before 6:30. And for 7.5 years, I have been somewhat irritated that one, we allow that. And two, I haven't had my shake or my T-bomb. Okay. Because I need that to, work through a crazy day and pour into the customers coming in. But you guys, I took no action to do anything about it until about December or January of this year. I was like, okay, we're not going to stop Tony Mills from coming in at 6:20 and turning on our lights and saying good morning. And he's so excited to be there. And he gets 2 shakes every single day. Amazing client, right? He's awesome. So I decided I'm actually going to wake up 30 minutes earlier every single day. and I have my shake, I have my T-bomb, and I do my gauges, and I show up to the club, get set up, and I'm not scrambling to get my shake and tea in. And it has literally changed my attitude and how I show up at Thrive. It's so much better. And I'm like, oh, that little adjustment, and I created a habit, and now it's like I get to reap the rewards of being disciplined around that by being able to not feel rushed and not getting my shake in the mornings at the club when it's something that I could have controlled this, for the past 7.5 years. So that's exactly what that quote made me think of. I was like, oh, if I could just be disciplined and wake up early enough, I wouldn't have to feel this way. So did anybody else connect with that in a way or want to share tonight? Again, not everybody at once. That's overwhelming. No? Everybody's good? Okay.
I was just trying to find my mute.
Oh, go ahead.
So I get to do the quote tomorrow, and I was not great at that, so I'm trying. So I was kind of really going off what Tiff is talking about, and I found some information about how many times it takes you to actually create a new habit, and it's 66 days. There's a lot of information out there, 21 days, but now they're saying that to get a habit instilled, even a small change, it takes 66 consecutive days of doing that to create something. So I was going to post, success is a sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out, and then ask everybody, kind of engage them. What are you going to make a change? What small change are you going to create a new habit as, and just kind of get some feedback. So if everybody can just jump on there and so that's going off what Tiff said.
So good. Very good. Yeah. Discipline, and you guys, discipline has nothing to do with how you feel about something. It really doesn't. And if we all based everything that we did based on how we felt, man, there'd be a lot of loose ends, a lot of things not complete, very high emotional days, but when you have that discipline put in place and you put in, now 66 days of consistency to develop that habit, in my opinion, once you develop the habit, it doesn't feel so much like work or disciplined. It's just something you do, right? But you got to be able to put in those first 66 days now of discipline, even if you don't feel like it. Those two tie perfectly together. That's great for tomorrow. So, okay, moving on, you guys, it's 8:11. So tonight I'm going to tell you guys what we're going to talk about tonight. So we are going to dive in a little bit more on fundraisers. I'm noticing more people are starting to get them booked. And after we've got like 2 solid ones under our belt, we'll kind of go through some stats and details and really open that up to some questions. Like if you weren't 100% clear on how to do a fundraiser, tonight is the night to ask some of those questions. We're going to do a little more Q&A on pop-ups. We've had, I think, two or three since our last week's call. So we've learned some new things about pop-ups. And if you've got questions, obviously, this is a great time to ask as well. Just a little tip on the point of sale. We'll talk about that. And then 2 other things that we'll maybe get to. So fundraisers. So I'm going to have, I believe, Shayna or Liz, I'm not sure who's sharing, but do you guys want to talk a little bit about, they hosted a fundraiser on Sunday. Who was it with? How was it set up? How did you get that connection? I think that's really important because if you guys are looking to do a fundraiser, it's like, where did that connection come from? Because that's the start of all of it. And then just kind of your experience, your lessons, like, hey, we did this, don't do that. Or we did this, definitely do that. If you guys want to go through some of that with us, and then we'll open it up a little bit for some Q&A.
Yeah. Okay, so the fundraiser was for the Iowa State dance team. They are heading to nationals in April, so it was just to help support those funds when they leave. I believe it came from the broadcast we sent out first asking if anybody was interested in a fundraiser. Alexa, who's one of our regular customers, is on the dance team. She had commented and wanted more information. So we sat down with her and kind of talked about like what would be the best for them. So we did tickets. It was kind of a hit or miss type thing. She asked the girls, all 31 of them, how many tickets they wanted to sell. Their option was 3 or 5. She took a poll. Every girl said 5. So if that would have been correct, they would have sold 155 tickets, which roughly would have been like $600 profit. Okay. So we printed 200 tickets just to have some in the club, just have some extras on our end. Probably what, Liz, 10 to 12 girls didn't sell any tickets. 0.
Yeah, there were a lot of unmotivated girls. It was unfortunate for them.
And it's not yes, we lost that money on the tickets we had printed. But I mean, honestly, like it was more of a loss for them because that was less money that they now have to take with them and more money that has to come out of their pockets heading to nationals. So, but some of the girls sold 6, 7, 8 tickets. But like I said, some sold absolutely none, which was kind of sad. Because they'd come in and they didn't have like the best attitude being in the club. But we tried to make it the best for everybody while they were in there.
Oh, sorry, Shay. So
no,
Shayna said that we sent out a broadcast. So I did the broadcast and then we got a bunch of people that like responded that they were interested in it and it kind of gained some momentum. So we had a few people that are sitting down talking to us about getting fundraisers and everything. And then to do the tickets, I just went on Canva and then made a design. We printed them out. I don't think they were too expensive though, were they, Shayna?
I think it was like $20.
No. So we ended up with like the 40 or so tickets that we had left at the club. We got rid of almost all of them. I think we ended up with like 5 or 6 tickets left that we didn't sell to our normal customers. Because we sent out another broadcast a couple days before the event. We did live videos and some social media posting just to keep the momentum going, which was super helpful. So when people came into the nutrition club, if they were just walk-ins, then it was a $10 donation to get their shake, tea, and aloe. And we just kind of were like, this is a special day for the ISU dance team, and this is what we're doing for them. Your donation goes to help them to go to nationals, and people were super receptive about it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, go ahead, Deanna.
So for the walk-ins, how much did you donate back to the team?
So everybody paid $10 regardless. That's how much a ticket was. If anybody wanted to upgrade to a T-bomb, they paid $3. If they wanted a Perlessa, all that stuff went into Vibe, and then we figured out the amount at the end of the day. So everything was for the dance team that whole entire day, no matter what. We did happen to have a girl who won Win It Wednesday. She used to go to Iowa State last semester. We picked her. She drove from Fort Dodge to claim her Win It Wednesday. So we did give her Win It Wednesday. It just happened to like work out that way. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But she did drive like an hour. So we're like, well, we should probably, let her redeem that. So how we ran it, you guys, we, Liz and I both pulled out our product that day. We each had colors. So I was pink, Liz was purple, Heather was blue. So as people would come in, we would star with whatever color was making that shake. Heather's product was not out on the counter because we just don't have enough space to do that. So if I made one, Liz made one, the next one would be Heather's. We would write on the back of the ticket, Heather owes S, and then we could look at the ticket. Okay, she paid me back 2 scoops Formula One, 2 scoops PDM, and a liftoff. Then it would be me, and so that worked out really well after we caught the hang of the flow of it. But at the end of the day, it was nice to just be able to sort the tickets of pink, blue, purple to go in at the end of the day and document. We did we also get everybody entered in the POS. Anybody brand new did check in. So we then just, tried to pair them with the coaches the best we could until the end of the day.
The only thing that I would say that was kind of a little rocky is people that were coming in new that had never been tied to a coach or who wasn't tied to a dance member that was either under me or Shayna. we didn't really have a good way to mark the new people that were coming in. Usually we do a star when we get a new person. Well, we were doing stars in the different colors of Sharpies. So we needed to come up with a little bit of a better way to write down who was new. But then we made sure we were stapling tickets and making sure we were keeping track on how people paid. So that way it was a lot more fluid at the end. When I did my hockey fundraiser, it was not as good. Like we had a little bit of a better system. So yeah, it worked really well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you guys, then for any new ones, did you give them that come back in tomorrow?
Yep. So they got linked into our Manny chat as well, gave them their half off, all of that stuff. And I believe we had 2 of them come back today already just from Sunday. So I don't remember how many, like, I don't know, like what, 20 some?
New people.
14
there were 14 new that were not assigned to a coach, but we had over 20 new people into the nutrition club. And a lot of that came from Alexa, which is Shayna's client, the girl in the dance team. So, and we were able to write them a check for $189.60 today, which was really cool. But Alexa knew when she was leaving today, she was like, man, we could have walked out of here with over $600. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's a lesson learned, right? So yeah, it was great.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
And I'll maybe share a little bit on the one I did and then bring it together. And if anybody else has other questions, but Shane or Liz, is there anything you guys would be like, we learned this?
It was nice to have somebody running when there was new people. So like Heather was in charge of getting people into the iPad, explaining what this was. Liz and I were behind the counter making the shakes, and then we had Shelby making T-bombs. So it was nice to have everybody on a certain task rather than all of us trying to do the same thing. Heather does a really good job of explaining what is this, how does this work, get people in. She got them enrolled in the Manny chat, and then she'd help them order, and then Liz and I took care of the rest, and then Shelby was rocking out the T-bombs. So we had a really good flow behind the counter. It didn't seem like we were flustered or, you know, it was a good pace and a good system that we had going on.
Hey, Shayna, what did you guys have the dance team girls do then?
That would be one thing, I guess, that we would like maybe sit down with them and say, hey, you know, let's have you guys like help make T-bombs and stuff. I mean, they looked really nice. They were in uniform and had their makeup done, but we did have them taking pictures with customers as they would come in. Like, hey, do you guys want to take a picture? Because they came in, everybody that came in, you know, was there to support them. So they took lots of pictures with all of the customers as they came in. So we could have had them doing stuff, but I mean, lesson learned, maybe have more involvement with them, but yeah.
I also think too, polling, because they were going in rotation. So every hour we would get at least 2 new people. And I think with as much that was going on in our nutrition club, trying to pull 2 more people back behind the bar, it would have been really tight. Could we have done it? Yes. But maybe doing like one girl to come back and help wash dishes or help with T-bombs or something like that. And then have the other girl out in the front mingling with people. There were a lot of girls that weren't super interactive with the customers, which was, you know, something that should have been discussed, I suppose.
Good. Anything else, Liz and Shayna? No? Okay, so I did my first fundraiser on Sunday. This was for Paige Canova. She's a senior at Centennial and is going on a 9-month mission trip. And actually I approached her at the gym probably, I don't know, back in November or December. Actually, maybe even before that, October-ish. And I just said, hey girl, I know, you know, you and your sister, she's on the dance team and you do mission stuff. If you guys ever interested in a fundraiser, let me know. 4 months later, she texts me, hey, I'd like to do one of those. So you just never know when that might pop up. So what we did with Paige was we negotiated, well, not negotiated, but I think it was important to kind of set the terms up front for sure. So we did $12 tickets, and that included a shake, a T-bomb, and an aloe shot. And she would keep 50% of a $12 ticket. Okay. So the max she could earn per person would be $6. So if somebody got a Prolessa shot, if somebody, you know, and we had lots of Prolessa shots or got an extra T-bomb, no matter what, for every ticket, the max she could earn would be $6 because 50% of a Prolessa shot, I would be losing money, right? Because it's not a 50% split with a Prolessa shot. We did, if somebody wanted to add focus to their T-bomb, it would have been $13. Even though our prices at the club would have included that, because this was a fundraiser, the $12 across the board was a shake, a T-bomb, and an aloe shot. If they wanted to do a basic T, she still kept $6 of the 12. So just keeping that super simple. I didn't even have to really get into all of that with her, but for you guys as coaches, just know in your mind, regardless of what they get for the $12, it doesn't matter. It's just $6 across the board. Is that clear? Does that make sense? I think so. She left with 50 tickets to sell for $12. She was instructed to bring them back. The fundraiser was set for a Sunday, and she brought them all back into me on Thursday, and she had sold 31 in advance. So not a huge amount, but we had done some work up to that. We created a Facebook event. She invited people. I posted pictures of Paige, where she was going. I would do some things on my social media. She would do some things on hers. She got her parents involved, her boyfriend, her sister, like everybody was kind of involved because, you know, it could have been just her, but she did a really good job of enrolling people to kind of support and help her in selling tickets and promoting the event. And then let me see if there was anything else. We did host on a Sunday very intentionally. One, because I think this would be very difficult to do during club open hours. And I don't think it would have created the specialness of the fundraiser by doing it on a Monday. And it would have created more chaos for us behind the bar at Thrive. So I think doing it on a time when we're closed and opening up specifically for that was really helpful, because we did promote it to people coming into Thrive. And one, they were super excited that we were open on a Sunday. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't care what I have to pay, right? I'm just glad you guys are open. Nobody was able to use their prepaid memberships at Thrive, which is why we promoted this is fundraiser style. It's $12 no matter what. And there was one person that attempted to use their card, and it was just because they didn't know. Everybody else that had prepaid cards at Thrive showed up with their checkbook or credit card and was prepared to, you know, pay the $12. Matt Barrett had his first T-bomb. He had a Sour Patch. So I think it was maybe a cool thing too for some customers that don't normally get a T-bomb. They tried it. And I think offering the T-bomb up front versus the basic T, one, it was more volume points, it was more dollars, and I just think we had 13 new people come in, and I think a T-bomb on your first visit is, in my opinion, a little bit better than a basic T. So I wanted them to experience a T-bomb their first visit. Couple other like details would be, so I only had new people log in, or I had everybody check in on no, I didn't. I did not have everybody check in on the point of sale. I'll tell you guys why when we get to what else is going on with the point of sale, but new people logged into the point of sale. I did not do the Manny chat. You guys, I was the only distributor there. I had 4 new people with me behind the bar that had never worked there. So for me, that just wasn't an option because I couldn't have them doing dishes and helping me with T-bombs. We just didn't have the manpower to explain Manny chat, get them the coupons. It was like survival mode, but in a really fun way. So, you know, either works, but all of those people that were new did get into our point of sale. So I have their information. So I sent them all a half off tomorrow coupon today and thank them for coming in. So it all works. I think it's important to still connect with those new people that did come in. And then let's see. Any questions so far? Good? Okay. So I had Paige, I said, hey, you need to have 3 or 4 people, including yourself, there with me the whole time. So I told her that. So it was her, her mom, her dad, her boyfriend, and her sister were there with me the entire time. I ran the shakes, put all the ingredients in. I taught them how to pour the shakes, how to pulse in Prolessa, what cups need, you know, they did all of that. We had 1 dishwasher, and then I helped 1 person learn how to make tea bombs. I also brought in my own tea. So we only served raspberry and lemon tea because that's all I had. And I brought my own aloe and put all of the club product away so that didn't get mistaken for my stuff. What else? We did put out donation jars. So we called it tips for the trip. And Paige earned $195 in cash tips just from people throwing money in there throughout the fundraiser as well. We had a total so far on Sunday, we had 90 people come in to support the fundraiser. And she did request at the start, because we're doing it on a Sunday, I don't know what high school activity was going on, but she had quite a few friends that would like to come but would not be able. So she asked if they could come and redeem their tickets throughout this week. It's not something I would normally do, but it's something we talked about up front. So they can still come in this week to redeem them. Those of you guys on the Thrive Partner thread, all that means is they'll show you an orange ticket. You'll make them the level 2 and replace yourself with the product that, you know, I set out for any of the partners working at the club today and the rest of the week. But overall, you guys, her stats were we've had 94 now redeem their tickets. She had $195 in tips, 13 new people. Gross sales were $1,235. So Paige will write her a big check for $758 towards her mission trip. And I don't know the exact volume points of it, but it was roughly, 6 to 7 volume points per person that came in. So it went really, really well. And it was a fast day. They stayed and helped with cleanup. It went really, really well. Things I would maybe do different would be having another distributor in there to help explain the process. And that's probably it. Maybe some more pictures. I don't feel like we took enough pictures because we were so busy. So if we had maybe a designated photographer or something like that, I could have had Paige say, hey, have a friend in here come and take pictures for an hour. So we could have had maybe a few more pictures. But other than that, it went really, really well. And they were so grateful and so excited. And they couldn't believe that more people had taken advantage of doing a fundraiser with any of our nutrition clubs because of how smooth it was. And, for her to raise almost $800 in 5 hours, she didn't have another way to do that type of fundraising ability in 5 hours. So, yeah, it went really well. Any questions?
One thing I forgot, we used Venmo.
Oh,
it's very popular with the college kids. So we made a Vibe Nutrition Venmo account, and then they could transfer the money to us that way, and then it just went right into our bank. So when people would be coming in with their tickets, we asked, did you pay cash or Venmo? And they would let us know, and then on the ticket we would put a V or an S. So that was really nice to use. And the one thing we heard a lot was, oh, my friends aren't up yet because college kids go out Saturday night. So I don't know, we'll maybe play around with some different other hours, but that was probably the one thing that we heard a lot was, well, my friends are sleeping, blah, 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 blah type of thing. But the Venmo was nice. It was really nice to have them just pay like that.
yeah.
I was going to say a couple things that I've learned from, one,
Does anybody have any questions? Let's go there before because you're probably going to share some good stuff about Perry. Does anybody have any questions?
One thing I was going to ask Lace is kind of for some clarification is I've seen, and I don't necessarily know if it's one of our coaches posting it or but some of the flyers say 40%. Like if you do a fundraiser, you get 40%. But like both the one that you did and the one Shana did, it sounded like you guys maybe did 50%, but you maybe changed the prices a little. Like, is there recommendation on what verbiage we should be using to kind of be consistent, or like what would you say with that?
Can I chime in on that, Lace?
Yeah.
So I was asking Amber, because I was on a Zoom and I'm like, I thought we were doing 40, and then I hear everybody's giving 50. And so what she said to me, she goes, how do I say it?
Under promise.
Promise and over deliver. So that was where that came about, because I was confused. I was like, everybody was like saying they're giving 50%, but yet everybody's flyer was saying 40. And so that's what she, and then you're like, oh, actually you're getting 50%. 40 is still awful darn good. They would be excited with 40, but that is why they had that posted like that. So does that answer that?
I'm confused still. So are we doing 40 or are we doing 50?
It's 50, but it says 40. Correct.
So Ash, it's kind of like if somebody's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'd love to do a fundraiser with you, and you sit down with them and then you're like, but actually I'll do 50% for you. It's kind of like a little bit, just being a little more generous.
Okay. I thought we had all talked about like keeping it 40. So we're telling everybody 40, but then when we do it, we're doing like making them feel special. Like we'll do 50. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
I get the like concept behind it. So you're promoting 40, but then when you sit down with them, like, hey, but for you, I'll do 50 type of thing.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good question. Okay.
Did you want me to share?
Oh, Sarah has a question. The question I have is our group that does our family run in April, we are a 501c3. I don't think we can qualify to do something like this, as some of the profits go back to the club, which rightly so they should. I think we put our status in jeopardy to participate in an event like this as the club is still profiting. Well, the club isn't really profiting, Sarah. The nutrition club makes no money. The only thing the club collects is expenses for the cups, lids, straws, and ingredients. If that answers your question. She says, okay. Okay, Mom, were you going to share something?
Yep. So just a couple things. One, Perry is kind of one of the gurus of fundraisers, and some things he shared with, like, especially if you have larger groups, he would train, maybe a couple people on T-bombs, or one person on T-bomb and a couple on dishes and a couple for greeting. And then when the next group would come in, their job was to teach the next group. Okay. So that way you weren't doing all the training. So you have your initial group, and then they would sign up, let's say 2-hour shifts, 1-hour shifts, and getting them involved again, and they'd also let their friends, family know, hey, I'm going to be working from 10 to noon, come in and see me. So getting them to promote that way. So that was something I know I definitely learned. And I like, Lacey, how you set up the expectations of what, with who needs to be helping. They need to be there to end. So otherwise they will leave and you're there doing all the cleanup, so setting that up front, I think that's huge in getting them involved. And then, I know both of you guys did, every so often you'd either go live on your Facebook page to continue to create momentum, excitement, pictures. I think that was important also on your Facebook pages. I know when I was in at both of the groups, there was definitely a lot of energy in both, and I was trying to snap pictures and send you guys pictures. So both, clubs, you guys did an awesome job, and it was super fun being in there. I personally, I like the T-bomb right off the bat, but I think you can do it either way, whatever you're feeling. And And, oh, I've ordered one of those great big enormous checks that you see a lot of times that they'll do presentations for, and it's laminated. So I know when Lacey does her presentation, she'll be able to do that with that big check. It's dry erase, and then we can continue to use it over and over. I think it's like $29. So that's something I've seen. And actually a couple of the people that have been doing quite a few fundraisers, some key things was do it in front of people, go live, because guess what do you think is going to happen? People are like, I'm interested in that, you know, so they start commenting. And with Lacey's gal, one thing, I was in a BNI group, which is a business networking group with her dad. And that might have triggered a little bit with them wanting to do the fundraiser, because I got up and did a presentation. I said, we're looking for people that are interested in doing fundraiser. And he said, would that work for my daughter? So he might not have known anything about it. So if you're in any of those groups, you know, open that up and share that opportunity with them too. So I think that's, and you can do fundraisers outside of being in a club too. I know there's some that they've actually went to a facility and had 3 to 4 shake options. And then the last thing I'll share, Perry created a scan code. So, and it was with a college group, and the green something was their names, and they did not want paper. And so the scan code, they had it on their phones. So if anybody was interested in getting a ticket, they could scan their phone, or they could send it to them. So that was something else. And they did the Venmo. And I know Liz and you guys did it through Vibe. But if it's just you, so for example, let's say Deanna's doing a fundraiser and she sets up the Venmo, so it all goes to her, because it's not Thrive really collecting that money. If it's just you, you guys did it as a group, so which kind of made sense for Vibe to do it, but you could do it individually. So those are just a few pointers that I have.
Awesome. Okay, final questions for fundraisers, you guys.
Okay, just one more question. So, in the future, are we gonna, if we're like all doing fundraisers, are we going to allow tickets after the fact, or is that just like a one-time thing? Is it kind of like just that day? Because if we're all doing fundraisers, that could be kind of hectic.
Yeah, I would not do it again.
Okay, that's just going to be like
ahead of time.
In the future, we won't do it, but obviously you had already talked about it. But if it's not used that day, you use it.
Yeah, so she had 12 tickets that were not used the day of the fundraiser. So there's a potential of 12 people to come into the club.
Right.
So I wouldn't do that, but you know,
right,
that's what we learn as we do it.
Gotcha. Cool.
And with that said, I know that was something Perry said, have on the tickets, valid only, or whatever, however that verbiage goes, to make sure that's on their tickets so they know it's only valid that day.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on, you guys, to some pop-ups. So I'm going to have Kendra, you guys. So we had Emily last week, and Kendra had one set up and did hers this weekend on Friday and Saturday. So Kendra, do you want to share a little bit about your not your fundraiser, your pop-up, anything that you learned, and if you have your stats on it?
That's a lot, but I'll see what I can do. I was trying to take some notes. So it was a very, it was a good learning experience. So one, I just really feel the need to, first of all, just thank this community of people, because I don't know, I mean, you all know, like, you're helpful, but like, I don't work in a club. So I do feel like my experience is a tad bit different. So all of you have been very, very gracious and helpful in all of the right ways. So thank you so much. If I've reached out to you with questions and you've answered them, thank you. So here's the thing, planning is a real thing, and I'm a pretty good planner, but we were not planned enough. So one of the things that was really, really critical that I've been thinking a lot about is the spatial preparation, which I just didn't think nearly enough. So whatever your space looks like, I did not ask nearly enough questions when it comes to like tables.
how many things are we going to set on each table? Like looking at your space and making sure that you have enough room, but not only enough room, but like where things are going to go logistically. Because one of the things that Lacey and I found is like, it was a little bit of a hot mess, like to the eye. So I think we wanted to, so I'm going back this coming weekend, and I think making it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So like you don't have bags and just like napkins and like trash and everywhere, things everywhere. It's just a mess. So that's something to think about. The setup was interesting too. Did not have enough time for setup. So thinking through, we were running a tad bit late, but even so, I don't think that was enough time. So thinking that 20 minutes might be enough, and then recognizing that that's not enough. So that was a learning experience. Also just like, and all of you in the club probably know, but like, just all the supplies that you need to be able to mix things, because you're not out of a club. So like your sink access and like your water access, like things look very different at wherever you might be. So like, do you have all your teaspoons? And like, this is really silly, but like a fork would have been like kind of helpful to like stir things, and we didn't bring a fork. And Pure Bar in Ankeny didn't have a fork for me to use. So I was just kind of figuring it out. What else? Sampling is interesting. So think about whether or not you're going to sample or not. But again, like being really conscious about where you're going to put your samples. Our first day on Friday, we didn't label samples, which we recognized was a bit of a problem because people are coming up and they have no idea what's what. So not only do you have 30 people asking the exact same question, what sample is what, it just was really hard to answer people's questions, but then also assist them with the ticket and their menu. So it was kind of a lot. And speaking of the ticket and the menu, so our ticket and menu were kind of one and the same. So it was just a small piece of paper, and we made it really easy where the shakes were listed, there were 3, the teas were listed, there were 3, and they could simply just circle what they wanted. But we recognized that then we didn't really have a menu to offer, which like didn't really explain what the tea bombs were. So we're changing things this week, major, but all great things to learn. The customers were great. I think everyone was really pleased. Not everyone, I don't think the majority was shake, tea, and aloe. I think a lot of people, we're still kind of figuring out the stats, but like a lot of people just got a tea bomb or just got a shake, which I think may had to do with like maybe not having a menu there that kind of described what it was. So we're going to change that up, but that's like learning 101. So we learned a lot. Okay, stats. So I think we had 31, Lace. Does that sound? Mm-hmm. 31 people over 2 days. And I haven't done the profit yet because I haven't gone through the volume points, but so we're still working on that.
I did.
You did perfect. Yay, good.
So far it's 127 volume points, $246 in gross sales. She actually has 2 customers now, right? That one bought an aloe on the spot. She's like, I'll take a bottle of that. Paid for it, and Kendra's ordering it now to bring back to her this week. And then another guy bottle of aloe. Yeah. And Kendra's like 100 points away now from, maybe 200 points away from qualified producer. So by the end of the month, you guys, so she's purchased everything, you guys, at the 35%. So when she hits qualified producer, she'll actually earn an additional 8% on all of these sales as well, and the product that she's retailed. So awesome way to, obviously increase your discount and earn some extra income as well. This is one thing on Saturday. So she's in a gym, or it's, a yoga studio. So anybody's setting them up in a gym. And I was talking to Ashley a little bit about this, but On Saturday, it was 4 back-to-back yoga classes. So after every single class, they'd open the doors and be like, and we have Herbalife here. And we'd rush in and be like, hey. And so we got to do a little commercial after each one of their classes in front of like 20 or 30, I think there's 20 people in a class. So it'd be like, hey, we have samples out here. You can try those and then decide what you'd like to get. So it was just a little commercial for them. So if you're in a space or, you know, at a workplace or anywhere where you can get in front of the crowd and say who you are, what you have, and you have samples for them to try before you buy, then I think that was really helpful, because I think some people that were a little hesitant, you know, and we had some people that sampled on Friday that then decided to purchase on Saturday. So I think if we wouldn't have had those samples sitting out there, we probably wouldn't have had as many people purchase, because everybody's a little hesitant when they don't know what something is. And if they can try it, I think that was really helpful. And they asked Kendra to be back next week. So that's a good sign. Questions or comments on pop-ups? Does anybody have any like potentially set up?
I don't have one set up, but I did reach out to a daycare, and we went ahead and talked about everything, and I'm just waiting for her to get back to me, and I sent the letter out. So just waiting to hear back on that.
Awesome. We did have a gal on Saturday. She sampled Friday. She sampled Saturday. And I gave her an invitation to come into Thrive. And she actually came into Thrive on our fundraiser day because her husband does mission trips and they really wanted to support and get the whole family in there. So a family of 4 from Pure Barre came into Thrive to check out the club and support the fundraiser. So that was really cool. Trying to think. Oh, bring money, bring change. We got some pretty good tips the first few, because we're like, oh, sorry, we don't have any change. I think Mike Adamson left us like $8. We'll give that back to him, but we just didn't have any change. I was like, crap, did you bring ones? She's like, no, did you? I'm like, no. So bring money.
I have a question, Lacey.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to use any type of POS system?
Nope. We had everybody write their first, last name, phone, and email on the back of the tickets. I think you could get there. We were not there Friday or Saturday. We were scrambling. We were scrambling a little bit, but we made it.
That's old school.
Did you have your PayPal swiper? Did you take credit cards?
On Saturday.
So we did a number of different, I did Venmo, I did PayPal, I did cash. There was one person's card. We couldn't figure out the swiper, but we did enter her card number.
So I don't think we had the adapter for the swiper either.
We didn't have a lot, but you don't need a lot. We did it with very little and it worked out fine. So
we do give, when we go, the owner and her full-time employee, we give them a shake and a T-bone each time we're there. And we're very like, hey, what do you guys want? What can we get for you? They're not charging us to be there. They're super supportive of us being there. So that is something like, and they're so excited, like, oh, what am I going to have? So I think that's important to kind of just say thank you and give them a shake and a T-bone, because one, if they're drinking it, they're people coming in, they know them, and them seeing that, you know, just is like, oh, well, if Katie's drinking it, I guess we'll have some too. It must be good, or she wouldn't have it. So, and also on social media. So Kendra did a great job of posting things on social media, but then they would post it too. So I think we had that upfront conversation and like, hey, if we're going to do this, you know, do you guys mind putting some things on your social media to let people know that we'll be there? So it's not just all us coming at them. Yeah. So, okay. Any questions, you guys, on pop-ups? The only advice, you guys, I've been doing this for 8 or 9 years, and like it was super fun, but it wasn't perfect. And now that you've done it, it's like, don't worry if you don't have everything figured out, right? It'll all work. And I think it's just that initial, like, getting the spot and where are you going to go, and asking, just keep asking people if you can come in. So, okay. Moving on, we have 7 minutes left here. So the point of sale, you guys. So Jesse and I have a story around the point of sale, and some of us at Thrive. So we have learned, if you guys are in the point of sale during the day and you go plug the iPad in or whatever and come back the next day, sometimes you're still logged in. And it's like, oh, okay, well, still logged in, and you just keep going. What we've recognized at Thrive, you guys, a couple weeks ago, if you saw that on the thread, is it's like almost in like offline mode or default mode. And what it'll do is all of the receipts will actually just go to the owner, and they won't go to who's actually working. It kind of logs out, but it doesn't really. And we're getting a new point of sale in May. So this is the only thing that we've learned to do is every single night, just make sure that you log out who's ever logged into the point of sale. And when you start the day at the club, make sure you log in. So I was going to check my inventory balance, and I was like, dude, I have 400 documented volume points, or 400 retail inventory. And you guys, I just ordered like 1,600 volume points. And I was like, I have no idea where my volume went. It wasn't me. So Jesse and I are still connected on the Prime point of sale. And you guys, between her and Leah in the month of March, Kyle, this is why my volume was kicking your butt, had over 900 volume points from my inventory that was documented under me that should have went under those two, because I'm still part of that point of sale, because it would just leave Jesse and Leah logged in, right? And so they just keep going, and it was documenting every single sale under me and not them. So that's why I didn't document you guys at the fundraiser, because I'm catching up. But I just wanted you guys to know. And then it also did last month, you guys, 600 volume points from Prime went to Lacey instead of Jesse or Leah. Actually, it wasn't any of Leah's, I don't believe, but Jesse's. So just super important, you guys. I know we have a lot of clubs that are looking to bring in partners, or maybe you have partners. And if you guys aren't checking that report, do you guys know where to check that report to see where the volume is going? If you don't, throw your hand up. If you're like, I have no idea. You need to be the owner of the club to see it. Does everybody know where to see that? Yeah? Okay. So just check it, right? And make sure, when it's happened to us at Thrive, we've gone, ours is set up with a PayPal, so the money will actually go to my mom as well. So she's getting all the PayPal notifications and all the volume, because, we just didn't log out of the point of sale and relog back in. So.
And I did the same thing at Vibe. Everything went to me one day. Heather was working.
Yep. So, and that'd be the same thing, you guys, at a pop-up, or, if you have multiple operators on your pop-up, just make sure that whenever you start, you're logging in like fresh. So, just kind of like an administrative thing, but I'm sure that will be a bug that doesn't exist in our new point of sale. Okay. And then last thing, you guys, that I have before is just March 24th, you guys, coaches workshop. It's going to be awesome. We haven't had one since January. Our February one was canceled. So I know there's a lot of growth happening. If you guys are feeling the buzz in the club, I know I think some of you guys have had some record days, in late February and March. So just staying on top of running your business, getting together, getting organized. We're going to do some kind of pod work. So I'll give you guys a little bit more details, but if there's something specifically you're wanting to come and do some work on, We're just going to have little areas where, hey, if this is a focus for you, you can go over there. You'll have guidance, you'll have help, and maybe you just need silence and work time, whatever that is. But we'll have a few different categories that you can choose. Like, hey, I want to go over here because I'm really looking to, reach out to my preferred members and connect with them. Or maybe it's follow-up, or maybe it's, I really need to talk to some people about the business and, actually doing it. And so we'll have some of that stuff going on. So it'll actually be a little bit more of a working workshop and some teaching and guidance on there, but I think it'll be a really awesome atmosphere for all of us. And that'll be on the 24th from 1:30 to 4. We will not be doing anything afterwards. And that is on the 24th. I forgot to mention this, but Shelby, you guys right here, Shelby is brand new to this call. So Shelby, do you want to say hi to everybody? I meant to do this at the beginning. And Shelby is a coach with Heather out of Vibe. Correct? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Where are you from, Shelby?
I'm from the Council Bluffs, Omaha area. Really small town.
Oh. What town is it?
Honey Creek.
Anybody heard of it? No, we have our first Honey Creek person. Awesome. Well, we're super excited to have you. And how's it going so far? Tell us one or two things. Yeah? Good. Are you going to be a partner at Vibe? Crossing her fingers. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, I have one more thing. Do you guys have like 3 minutes? Okay. I'm just going to have, Liz has 2, maybe 3 new coaches, you guys, that she's working with. Who would like 2 or 3 new coaches? I would, right? So Liz, I just want you to kind of explain, Mariah is one of her new coaches. Can you kind of explain like what that looked like, how it started, and what did you actually do when Mariah was like, I think I want to coach? Like, what did you do? Because I think sometimes we get hung up on like, oh, somebody wants to coach. Like, now what? Right, Liz? Liz and I have been going back and forth with this for like 3 or 4 weeks now. So you kind of want to share a little bit, girl? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mariah, fill in any gaps if I missed something here, girl. Okay, so she actually came into the Nutrition Club looking to do a fundraiser for the Army ROTC. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to get everything set up by the time that they needed their funds. So she came in, and after meeting with her, she sent her boyfriend in. Her boyfriend comes in with 3 of his friends, absolutely loves the shakes. And then she comes back and tries a shake and tea, loves it, and she started talking to me about wellness coaching or working at Vibe. So I contacted Lacey. I was like, okay, this used to be super smooth and solid. What am I doing here? So essentially what we decided is teaching her how to get behind the bar at the Nutrition Club, but also teaching her how to become a wellness coach. So kind of doing things simultaneously. So it made it very fluid. And for me, it was easy. For Mariah, I don't know, you'll have to ask her, but it was great to be able to get her behind the bar and get her some exposure. She's doing her 40 hours of training. And while we were doing that and we had downtime, we would go over the 10 steps to kind of teach her about 3-day trials and everything like that. And then just learning how to get all the stuff out for the 3-day trials and what happens next. And so it's just been super fluid from my standpoint, and I'm duplicating it with this new coach that's coming on as well. Mariah left, was it Wednesday or Thursday, girl, that you left with 5 trials, right? Does that sound right?
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday, yep. So left her shift at the Nutrition Club with 5 trials. She's gotten 3 of them out this weekend and is just really excited. And Mariah is in nutritional sciences, right? And so she is just grasping all of this, and I love it. It's been a lot of fun having her here.
So what I wanted you guys to just kind of grasp from that was, when somebody is interested in coaching with us, it's like you almost blend the 2 things that they're going to do. It's not, I think sometimes we were like, okay, you don't get to do anything behind the bar until you're a wellness coach. Whereas we're kind of swinging the pendulum till it's a little bit more in the middle, where it's like, great, let's get you training behind the bar and we'll get you started as a wellness coach. So by the time that you're done with your training and you've gone through the launch, you're a wellness coach and you're trained and ready to work behind the bar. So, because usually you guys, Mariah was probably attracted to the Nutrition Club model. That's how she found the club, right? That's how she found Herbalife. So they're usually excited. You know, I'm sure Shelby was excited to get behind the bar. It's fun, right? That's where a lot of the action comes from. You learn a lot of the language. So people can start training quickly, you know, behind the bar, but also making sure they're clear on the standard that you have as a nutrition club. You know, now you can get your 40 hours in, but it's so important we bring in that wellness coaching part, because we got to have you at that 42% before you can start, you know, actually having shifts behind the bar. So we're going to work on both of those hand in hand so that you're ready to go after the 40 hours, right? And them learning and listening to you behind the bar, oftentimes you guys helps them as a wellness coach in talking to people outside of the nutrition club. So those two things together is a great way. And Liz did a great job of bringing Mariah in that way.
And the STS was super helpful. I think Mariah got a lot. And my other girl, Savannah, were both at the STS, and both of them moved forward after that point. Mariah is not a preferred member. Her boyfriend is. So she's not a distributor yet. We're still working on making sure that she gets her 5 trials out first. And she's very clear on that. And while she's continuing to train behind the bar. And Savannah is a preferred member, but she left the club today with 3 3-day trials that she was mailing out. So it's, you know, continuing to work through that business flow and just staying really smooth with it. And then, you know, next step will be talking to Savannah, like, hey, what's your schedule look like? How can we get you behind the bar and start you on some training as well?
Awesome. Great job, Liz. Okay. Lori just let me know, you guys, we have Teresa Shepard. She's a brand new coach as well on the call. So Teresa, I don't know if you can unmute yourself and say hi, but welcome to the Dream Team Huddle Monday nights at 8 o'clock. We're so excited to have you. And you guys, Lori just told me, she said, Teresa's a brand new coach. She has 4 preferred members and almost 10 3-day trials out. So this girl's working her business. That's so great.
I don't know if, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's been super exciting. Lori's been great. She's got some of the girls that I've been working with already excited that they're looking at possibly wanting their goal to become a distributor. So it's like, oh my gosh, I told Lori, this is like going so fast.
That's awesome. Teresa, where are you from?
I'm from Fairbank.
Fairbank. Okay. I have heard of Fairbank.
Yeah.
So. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing awesome, girl, and welcome to the call. And yeah, you're in good hands over there with Miss Lori and her team. So excited to see what happens.
I had to pop in. You have Thrive Nutrition in Ankeny, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know if your girls told you. I popped in there. I told her I was down there for a hair show. My boss sent me on a little mission to go get something. I told Lori, I'm like, I had to sneak away and go check out her club. So yes, I popped in there, and one of the owners was in there, and I'm not sure, one of you guys, I'm not sure who it was. They were working. So
I think it was Deanna. She's waving.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was fun. You have a beautiful place there. So it's really neat.
Awesome.
I
So
thought
great.
you were usually adorable. We're so excited to have you on the team.
Thank you.
Good. All right, you guys, it's 9:06. Thanks for staying on a few minutes late tonight. To close, you guys, I mean, you guys are feeling the momentum, and like Tiff said to start the call, even if you don't feel like it, do it anyway. Keep your foot on the gas pedal right now, because you guys, things are moving right now, and people are looking for opportunity. They're looking to be a part of what we're doing. And if you guys are open and ready and keep your foot on the gas, you guys, now is the time to build. So super exciting, and you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.